All right. Hello, everyone who will be in the science fiction literature and film class. I'm here in Ripon, Wisconsin on vacation and just wanted to add a little something to the introduction to the class that was made almost 3 years ago because for the last 2 years I taught the zombie class, and which is fine. I love that class, don't get me wrong. I just wanted to do it 2 years in a row to get everything set up. And so now we come back to doing it again this year. Now, there are two texts available for the class. Schlabach's text, which is goes only up to the late 70s, but provides really still one of the best introductions to how to appreciate science fiction films. Everything from the music to the voices. I mean, really, you'll learn a lot from the book. I do every time I read it. Now, Schlabach's book is available as an ebook for $13 or so. So I suggest that if you have the opportunity to do that, you might and have both. I have both just because I like to be able to read when I want to read and when I need to read. So the other book you can find, I was looking on Amazon and a couple places for $20 or so with quick delivery. So you might look into those alternatives as you're getting ready for the class. You can start reading now. I sent everybody in the class an email with the course descriptions and things along those lines. And this video will appear on the blog for the introduction to the class. There's another video there. Now I suggest you just read both of them because I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here. You have two discussion threads, but I will allow keep everything open to at least Monday of next week. No matter what it says there, as I did note on the note, they say I'll be out of town all of next week. Excuse me, right after the break. Every year I go to something called the IAFA, the International Association for the Fantastic and the Arts. It's a very academic conference from everything from zombie films to hard science fiction and fantasy and terror. I'm the treasurer of the organization, so I got to go Monday. Both conferences, this and Alpha Chi, meet on the same week this year, and I have to bring checks and money. So I'll leave for Orlando Monday morning, then take off from Orlando to Chicago for the Alpha Chi Honor Society National Convention, and I'll be back Sunday. I'll do my best to get everything ready for Sunday. In most instances, it's just a question of moving material around. Now, you do have a lot of notes this week for the book. You don't have them every week, and I'll either be adding more notes or more videos. I like to go both ways on this. You have readings in Schlabach, the introduction there, which I think is really an interesting one where we start talking about things like the differences between science fiction and horror, and the mixtures of the two. When you get to zombie films, there's a mixture. However, you also have some interesting readings. Now, I suggest you get to the reading, Schlabach, and the notes and the short stories right away, and then go to the discussion threads. There are two, one devoted to the movies in Schlabach and one devoted to the short stories. There would certainly be overlap in these areas. And start getting into it, using links to show people, take them to other sites that are interesting in terms of the conversation. But don't wait till Saturday and Sunday or Sunday and Monday to do this, because then you're not discussing, really, you're just posting. Now, there's a minimum of 2 paragraph length posts. You can start one, you can reply in detail to 2, but that's just the minimum. I'm looking like if you really want to get into it and get full credit, do 5. or 4 on each side, and share links, and really, have 5 or 6 sentence paragraphs there, showing how, the depth of your appreciation and the connections that you can make. So that those discussion threads are very important on an online class. Now, as a rule, on Tuesday nights, I think it's Tuesday because usually there are people from the science fiction class who happen to be in the Peru State Prestige, and they practice on Monday, I believe. So Tuesday nights, I'll try to show 2 movies starting at 6. The movies that we'll see. Now, this week, and I just did some investigation there, you can watch all 3 movies on the internet. Just Google them. You'll find them pretty quickly. Full movies, no price. You can always watch them on Amazon and other places for a couple bucks. And you can also join Netflix once for a free month, but I do it with just 2 movies and then look weeks in advance so that you can give these movies a good watch, especially if you're not able to come to campus. Now, as a rule, I will have all the movies in my collection. There, one way or another, you'll be able to see the movies. But you have to get the books now. It's important to read the material. I'll be making lots of videos as we go through instead of writing extensive notes. There's a real big gap in this class because I happened at this time of the year when I first taught it right after the midterm or whatever it was, and I got quite ill. And didn't have as much stuff like quizzes and things like that. I'll take care of it. This time is why I always like to teach these classes 2 years in a row. So we'll have a busy 8 weeks. There's no question about it. But, frankly, everybody that's taken this class last time really enjoyed it. And I'm glad to have you here. So be thinking about the discussion threads and getting there early and sharing links. Discussion threads also take people away from the threads to introduce them to other materials now. So you'll always have choices in the films this week, though the main one you want to see without a doubt is It Came from Outer Space, that was based, as it turns out, on a Ray Bradbury short story. And Ray made sure that he eventually got credit and probably some coin. This is as Schlabach will tell you, that early science fiction movies were not necessarily afraid of aliens in this first encounter genre of the medium. And indeed, It Came from Outer Space, the ones who are ignorant and whatnot turn out in many respects not to be the so-called invaders from outer space. And the same applies to one of the others, The Day the Earth Stood Still, a Robert Wise film. He also did the Andromeda Strain later on, but Robert Wise's show is an alien coming, and I guess one of the sad things about it is the message rings true still with respect to things like weapons of mass destruction and the kind of a world order that in the 50s, after the frightening the bombing of Hiroshima and whatnot, that there became a real ambivalent feeling towards science, and you don't find that in The Day the Earth Stood Still. But the military is not seen as the savior of the planet. The Thing from Outer Space is basically pretty much both anti-military and certainly in many respects anti-science. And this is the same in the literature you find if you read that the 1950s is when you start having science fiction that starts questioning things about science and scientists, and especially industrial science, that dominates today, and the dangers of what we call dual-use technologies. And you'll see it as we move along through the movies. I'll try to stick with the as best I can the schedule as it's there so that you can look for these movies in advance, because you're going to be required to watch, in most instances, 2 movies of a week, because this is basically a 16-week class compressed into 8. And this is what happens in online classes, but it's also really a fun read and a good ride if you keep up with things. So look over the syllabus. You'll have papers, the midterm and the final. Will be like all my midterms and finals, and I'll talk about them, give you a video later on about them, and do everything I can to help you do well. You have a quiz this week that covers, as the video says, I will leave that video up there. I think it's 20 multiple choice and true-false questions about the reading. And as in all the times when I make videos, you will have the answers to everything. So if you read the material, right, and watch the videos, and then listen to the video, my video, I'm talking about movies, I meant to say, watch the movies, then nothing, there's no mystery here, and you all should do quite well on the test. So although I'll be out of town once this class starts going, I'll be in email touch, and don't hesitate to write me. I will be checking email. There'll be a lot going on during that week because I get heavily involved in my role as treasurer and vice president of treasurer of IAFA and vice president of the Alpha Chi Honor Society. So, but I will be, checking my email whenever I get a chance. So you shouldn't have any problems there. I welcome you to the class and hope that you have as good a time as I do with this. I always think of it as exciting material. And I hope you will too. I think you'll be in for some surprises about especially in terms of the way when we look at some of these 50s, 60s, 70s movies, about how good they were, considered B movies and kind of trashy. But even a movie that I Married a Monster from Outer Space, it survives its terrible title, but it really, in many ways, it's almost a Blackbeard story that questions the mores in the 50s of the women's role, and the whole question of who the guy is that you marry and whatnot, and you'll find that the movie has some impact, on even the strange ones on the Attack of the Crab People and things like these Roger Corman movies. They always had a kind of a message, and the Attack of the Crab People is about, as is the very, very excellent movie called Them, about giant ants, the abuses and the need to watch over what scientists and the secret military things are doing, which, by the way, of course, sounds very familiar to us today. Now, the books, again, that anthology is excellent. It's pretty new. I happen to know that people were involved in it, and one of the reasons I chose it is because I have a great faith in their knowledge of science fiction. The introductions to the stories are quite good. And I think that you'll find the reading easy and revealing when you start to see all the various things that science fiction, in particular, questions. That is to say, the world around us. Sophisticated science fiction, and that's what we're going to read. Really, in the long run, it's not necessarily just about going to space, where to boldly go where no one has gone before, but it's what's discovered about the human side in the stories. And so the impact always falls back upon important things going on in the world, everything from gender relationships to weapons of mass destruction. So keep an eye on those things and keep an open mind. We're not going to read the entire anthology. I hope you'll, take it upon yourself. I mean, I'll finish it this year to view beyond that. Again, you can find that anthology for around $20 online. So I suggest you pick up a copy if you haven't already gotten them from the bookstore. And then we'll just see how it goes for this week. Look over your syllabus. Everything's pretty much right there for you for the taking and for the reading. And I'll be back with you each week with a video, I'm sure, adding some things, talking about other things, and building the information base for this class. So, welcome again. Enjoy the rest of your break. This is Wednesday where I'm making the video, and I wish you all a good rest of the break and a real strong rush into this class when it becomes available.